And today it's sentence completion. What is the meaning of sentence completion? You might have seen this in your schools or universities called fill in the blanks. I think it's quite familiar to you, fill in the blanks rather than sentence completion, where you have a statement and you have some blank in there after that. Remember, these statements are separate. I mean, they are not connected to each other, right? A single sentence which is not connected, like I said. So you'll be listening to an audio, you will have a statement with a blank in it. What I mean by connection is these two are not connected directly. What if we are forming a paragraph and we talk about one sentence and then have a blank in it, and then talk about next sentence with a blank in it? So these are connected. You have to go in the sequence, but here they are not connected. Hence I call it single sentence with no connection. They are not connected. That is called sentence completion. This is the typical example what it looks like. We have here a sentence and a question. Now, question might be mentioned here or close to the blank. It's the same thing. You have to search for this question here, 27, 28, 29, 30. On the top, they will mention the number and instructions, right? Pointers we'll see later. First, I would like you to go through this and see how much you get. And you will get an idea. I mean, you will get an idea how this question has been taken care. Yeah? Let me play the audio. Get ready for it.
The other thing I wanted to ask you was, did you find it hard studying with the Open University?
You mean because you're studying on your own most of the time? Well, it took me a while to get used to it. I found I needed to maintain a high level of motivation because it's so different from school. There's no one saying, "Why haven't you written your assignment yet?" and that sort of thing.
Oh, dear.
You'll learn it, Paul. Another thing was that I got very good at time management because I had to fit time for studying round a full-time job.
Well, I'm hoping to change to working part-time, so that'll help.
What makes it easier is that the degree is made up of modules, so you can take time off between them if you need to. It isn't like a traditional 3 or 4 year course where you've got to do the whole thing of it in one go.
Oh, that's good, because I'd like to spend 6 months travelling next year.
It's all right for some. Then, even though you're mostly studying at home, remember you've got tutors to help you, and from time to time there are summer schools. They usually last a week. They're great, because you meet all the other people struggling with the same things as you.
Oh.
I've made some really good friends that way.
Sounds good. So how do I apply?
Alright, so we are back. I hope you got all the answers correctly, number 27, 28, 29 and 30. See, here we have mentioned blanks almost in the end. Sometimes they do come here or even in the beginning. That doesn't mean there's a different type. It's the same type. The difference, I mean the main component is a single statement with a single blank. Alright, there won't be 2 blanks ever. Nice, let's see the answers now. The answer number 1 is motivation. Second one, time management. Hyphen, it's up to you if you want to keep. If you don't want to keep a blank, it's correct. Third one, that is 29th one, is modules. And 30th is summer school or schools. Both are correct. When we form a bracket here, that means it's correct without it or with it. Now, if there's a spelling mistake, it's incorrect. Remember, if you have written exactly the same answers, it's correct. If you got 4 out of 4, wonderful. If not, don't worry. We have pointers coming and you can practice some other questions which we'll mention later. Let's go with the pointers now. Yeah, and pointers are the tips that can help you to find the answers easily. The first one, read and predict. This is the first one. Read and predict. When you have an audio provided, or let's say when you have question provided, they're going to definitely give you some time, okay? And then you can predict based on that. Now, let's understand both of them separately, what I mean by read and predict. So these are the questions that are provided to you. Before this, they will say, have a look at question number 27 to 30. Your task is to read through these places, right? We have here question 3 and 4. I want you to read all of them, right? And go through the blank as well. What could be an answer for this blank? Let's read together. Studying with the Open University demanded a great deal of what? Hard work or some kind of quality for sure. So in the question paper, write in bracket, or this will be a quality. Studying and working at the same time improved Rachel's blank skill. Again, this will be a quality. They have already mentioned some kind of skill. But whose skill? Rachel's skill. You have to listen for information about Rachel, right? Let's see the third one. It was helpful that the course was structured in what? In either language or in the time or in the college. Something related to the structure and course in some blank. She enjoyed meeting other students at either a time or a place, because at is only used for these things, right? So you can predict either a time or place. This is called reading through and predicting. Now you are given 30 seconds to read before the audio is being played, right? You have enough, or let's say ample time to go through it. And predicting. Predicting helps you to listen for the information which is required for you. See, the audio which they are playing is not for fun or enjoyment. You know, what are they talking about? Any interesting topic. Because you're not going to get score or marks for understanding the audio. You will get only marks for writing the correct answer. Hence, you have to look for specific information. This is where this prediction and reading prior to the audio comes in. I hope you understand this thing. Yeah. Next one, we have synonyms. Now, what is the meaning of this synonyms? Synonyms mean that sentence will be paraphrased, but let me just help you with that. Answers have to be exact words. Synonyms, in a way, that means you will have to, you cannot provide answers as synonyms. Exact words have to be used, which they said in the audio. For an example, let's see what I mean by all of this. Here we have a blank, and we have given answer as motivation, right? In the place of motivation, you thought inspiration you will write. That's incorrect. Inspiration cannot be the correct answer for a reason. It's a synonym for motivation, which they didn't even speak. So inspiration cannot be considered as correct answer. It has to be motivation. What I mean by paraphrasing, which we mentioned earlier, this is here paraphrased, is that this statement won't be said exactly the way it is. In the audio, they're not going to say studying with Open University demanded a great deal of something. Of course, they can paraphrase it. For example, Open University requires a lot of blank. Yes, so see, this is how paraphrased it is. They might put it in two sentences, right? They'll talk about universities, let's say Open Universities, and say it's a great place to study, but it requires. So these are two statements, and they have mentioned the answer using those. Listen for the prediction which you have mentioned earlier. I mean, we have mentioned read and predict here, right? Predict those answers, and eventually you will get the correct answer. Another tip I would like to give you here is, please listen for each statement in the audio. Some people, what they do is they just listen for Open University. That's it. Don't. Here we have read the question, right? That means the blank. Studying with Open University demanded a great deal of something. Where have they mentioned something about Open University? Where have they mentioned regarding what they demand or what they require or what they expect from you? That's it. You have to listen for. So listen for each statement one by one. Let's say I say something about the university. You connect with the blank. Is it correct? No, it's not filling any of the blank. Next statement in the audio. Is it correct? Yeah, maybe. Then you fill the answer. And as every blank and most of the question we have mentioned, it will go in the sequence. Yes. So once they have mentioned 27, they'll proceed with 28 and they'll proceed with 29. Same way all the time it has been followed. The sequence has to be followed. Once in one statement I found one answer, definitely audio will talk about the next one. So I'll talk about Rachel, right? And next time I'll talk about the helpfulness of the course that was structured in what? In some way. I have kept it gray so that I don't talk about it. We have enough 3, right? Good. So this is about paraphrasing and synonyms. Please don't provide answers as synonyms. Exact words have to be used in the answers. Next one is grammar. Not just grammar. I am sure if it is grammatically incorrect, you cannot fill it. Try to do that, right? So we have this answer here. Instead of motivation, if you put something else, will it be correct answer? Sometimes people don't even understand this. What I mean is, let's say you're listening to this blank and you predicted earlier. Now, instead of prediction, what you do is just write something incorrectly. You predicted incorrectly. You made that mistake, no problem. But when you read it next time when you're providing the answer, it's like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Let's see an example. Studying with the Open University demanded a great deal of let's call it exercise. See, in this case, it is making sense. And when I say great deal of cats, doesn't make any sense, right? This is making sense together. Exercise, cats or dogs or a name of a person doesn't make sense because great deal of what? Grammatically, it's incorrect. In that case, you can check. Second thing, it has to be correct spelling, right? You have to spell the answer correctly. Instead of this spelling, if you don't write A here, it's incorrect. You won't get the mark for that. All right. So these are the 2 things that you have to take care while writing, not just the grammar, but the spelling. If it is grammatically incorrect, you cannot provide it as an answer. It's also a hint that this is not the correct answer. Okay. And that's the end of the chapter.